Hello?
Grandma, it's me, David.
David, have you finished that list for Santa Claus?
I want a bike and a...
Holiday calls like these are brought to you free by Eastern Hills Mall. Spend $100 and get a GTI Magic Minutes calling card worth 15 minutes of free long distance.
Mom, I love the fruitcake. No, really, I just...
15 minutes of free long distance, just for shopping at Eastern Hills Mall.
There are rewards for heroism, the arts, and sports. But if you're not good at that stuff, now there's a reward for, well, shopping. Introducing Mall Perks, where anything you buy gets you points towards huge discounts on merchandise, travel, and entertainment. Are you buying your loyalty? Absolutely. Mall Perks, the reward for shopping at Eastern Hills Mall, a DeBartolo managed property.
When first opened in 1972, Eastern Hills was the largest shopping mall in western New York at 1 million square feet.
The conversion of the Eastern Hills Mall in Clarence into a neighborhood concept is apparently moving forward.
Over the years, you've become a fan of strolling the interior portions of this mall or shopping the stores here. Be aware that your time to do so is quickly running out. Signs at the mall entrance advise that as of Sunday, the mall concourses will be closed to the public as Uniland Development pushes forward in its plans to convert the property upon which this mall has stood for more than 50 years into an entire neighborhood with homes, offices, and shopping. Existing businesses with exterior entrances will be unfazed by the shutdown of the mall's core, while some within that core have secured vacant spots with outside doors to continue their business.
The mall would actually close one day early due to an extreme winter storm that hit that weekend. We would arrive here a day before to take a final outing through the mall. The tour would rank as one of the most surreal in the nearly 100 malls we've visited at this point, as it was virtually lawless inside. Dogs were allowed to walk around, while people freely took signs and other items. Stores that had already closed had piles of free stuff outside their gates, while other empty storefronts were left wide open. Many had come to pay their last respects and snap photographs. When construction first began in 1969, it was to be named the Buffalo Mall, but changed at the request of the actual town it was located in of Clarence. It was switched to Eastern Hills after a ridge of small hills that run through the area. They also ran into a few snags during construction, including sewage issues, injuries, fines for brush burning, and someone stealing over $1,000 of equipment from the construction office. But the mall remained on track for its formal opening February 1972. The first 15 or so years of operation continued on without much of note that I could find until a $10 million renovation in 1987 added a 14-restaurant food court to the far back section. Updates to the rest of the concourse at this time were also made, including the adding of new water fountains, skylights, and new mall entrances. To celebrate the grand reopening, the Buffalo Philharmonic Orchestra and Studio Arena Theater held performances, while an art gallery had an exhibit and a Hollywood on Tour performance featuring lookalikes of Elvis Presley, Marilyn Monroe, the Blues Brothers, and Michael Jackson was held.
Welcome to the interdimensional elevator.
With the renovations, the mall's assessment had raised to $41 million, and the owners sued to have it reduced to $30 million to avoid the higher taxes. They would eventually drop the case before it going to the Supreme Court in 1993. By this time, the mall was beginning to struggle with competition of the new McKinley Mall, an updated Boulevard Mall, and the Walden Galleria, which had usurped Eastern Hills as the largest mall in the region. In 1999, the mall would receive a tax break, and it was noted as sitting around 80% full, and dropping down to 70% when the newly merged Simon D. Bartolo Group would sell the fledgling property in 2003. The new owners set about a $15 million facelift, which sadly remodeled the delightfully 80s food court to just 6 restaurant spaces and added the fireplaces along with other cosmetic changes throughout the concourse to give the mall a more upscale appearance and revitalized it to 92% full.
You have arrived to your destination.
When Buffalo was hit with a freak snowstorm in October 2006, utility companies working to restore services to customers would headquarter in the mall's 6,000 space parking lot as a dispatch center. The food court would become a wedding venue in 2013, when a couple who had first met here where they both worked would get married. The dress and tux were also purchased from shops inside the mall. But this cute story was overshadowed by a growing number of thefts during the decade. 4 people were arrested for stealing over $1,000 worth of merchandise from Macy's. 3 women stole $1,000 from Victoria's Secret. A 17-year-old boy stole an elderly woman's purse in the parking lot, and one couple assaulted a store employee chasing them in the parking lot after they shoplifted. Prior to this, there would be a few incidents of large shoplifting along with an overdose death, but the biggest crime at the mall occurred back in 1992 when Octavio Duran would be shot to death in the parking lot after his wife caused a fender bender. The following year, James Pennington would be convicted of the murder despite witnesses stating Octavio had slammed the door on Pennington's leg and continued to approach him as he crawled away. He would eventually be released in 2008. Amidst the chaos, many of the original anchors such as Sears, Macy's, and Bon-Ton would close, and towards the end of the decade, the mall was described as a ghost town when the owners first announced their plans to convert the property into an open-air mixed-use town center. In the meantime, however, they focused on bringing in local retailers, and by 2022 had successfully brought the mall to 99% occupancy. They would get into a legal battle with one such anchor, Destination Buffalo, that year when the store was planning to move across the street, but a dispute about store fixtures went to the Supreme Court before it was settled. This same year, the 3-screen Eastern Hills Cinema would close permanently after operating almost continuously since the mall's opening. In late 2023, tenants without external entrances to their stores received eviction notices that January 14, 2024 was to be the final day for the concourse. While customers can still visit the external stores, demolition of the inside is set to begin soon for Phase 1, while the overall project is estimated to take 20 years to come to fruition. Considering the final day of the enclosed mall was closed due to extreme cold and snow, One has to wonder how an outdoor shopping center will fare in such weather. But, as with the renovations to the concourse prior, nostalgia continues to fall as consumerism progress marches on.
We lived in the Ken Bailey neighborhood, so this was about a 20-minute trip.
Okay.
And if we came out here, it was like, ooh, highfalutin, you know? And the place was just packed, and you couldn't park anywhere. It was so busy, and every store there was waiting lines for people to get storefronts. And alas.
And now it's gone. Yep.